Do you know the less to shuffle? No. Take off a stack of cards if you would. See, that gives me less to shuffle. It's quicker. Well, this is the cow patty method. This is how a cow does it. As I said, I travel abroad. Most of the time I go as a man. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not a pin. That's a rectal thermometer. Yeah, I could have you pick a card, but you might think that I'm forcing you to take a particular card. Actually, my father is psychic, and my mother is telepathic. And they say that somehow that makes me psychopathic. 8 and 11, 19, 20, and 5, that's 25. That's your number. 10, 19, and 6, that's 25. Here, there's 8, 15, and 10, that's 25. 23, 24, 25. What was your card? Yeah, it is, with your number on there. No other number would have worked. That's why I get paid the big bucks. Now, there's many different ways I could shuffle these cards. I'll show you one of the methods. Now, when you do it like this, it's called, actually, I'm going to get somebody up to help with this. Someone to be eager to volunteer. All right, yeah, why don't you come on up. And your name, sir? Darren. Hey, if you would, right over here for me, Darren. And I don't want you to think I prearranged anything, so I'll have you shuffle the cards. And I'll have you face the audience. If you need the table, you're welcome to use it. Are you a card player? I'm trying to quit. I'm down to 3 packs a day. Wearing that new card patch. Have you seen those? A friend of mine had a lot of luck with a cigarette patch. He said that worked for him. He put 6 of them over his mouth. All right, if you would go ahead and put them back in the order I had them in. No, there's many different ways to shuffle. When you do it like this, it's called a dovetail. That's a dovetail. You may have seen these. You may not know the names. Like this, it's called a bridge. This is the overhand method, the overhand. Like this, it's called a Hindu. This is the way they shuffle in places like India. As I said, I travel abroad. Most of the time I go as a man. When you do it like this, it's a weave. You're actually weaving the cards together. You ever heard of the Russian shuffle? I'll show you. See, it's just one card rushing after the other one. So that's the Russian shuffle. I can do it behind my back as well. You want to see that? Let's see if I can do it. Back up. Here we go, like that. It's amazing. You should see it. Yeah. And the Lesta. Do you know the Lesta shuffle? Take off a stack of cards if you would. See, that gives me less to shuffle. It's quicker. Some of these are just for me, okay? Here's a good Texas shuffle. This is the cow patty method. This is how a cow would do it. Like that. Appetizer. The Australian shuffle. Down under. Come on, that was like a joke without the funny part. This is the congressional shuffle. See, nothing gets done that way. One of my more difficult shuffles, I call this the carpal tunnel or the arthritic shuffle, as you can see why. Don't try that in a phone booth. Look at that. And thank you for that. And like this, it's the confusion shuffle. This is the only true way to really mix up cards because, see, they don't even know which way they're going. Now the cards are what? They're face up and they're face down and they're back to back. The hard part's doing this. Let's put them all back in the same order again. Now that they've been thoroughly shuffled, I could have you pick a card, but you might think that I'm forcing you to take a particular card. So you take the pack and take out the card of your choice. And now, if you would, take one of the stickers here and put it right in the center of, right on the face of the, not on your face, but on the face of the card. Put the sticker right on the number side. Great. And what I'd like you to do is put a number between 20 and 50 on that sticker. It can't be between 1 and 10. It's got to be between 20 and 50. You'll see why in just a moment. And then show the audience your card, if you would. Have we done that? Great. That's okay. It's okay if I see it. I've already seen this trick. All right. I'll mix them up a little bit. Now, as I do this, I want you all to make sure my fingers never leave my hands. I'm just going to mix these up a little bit. Now, was that fair? I'm going to tell you right now, if it was any more fair, you'd be cheating me. That's how fair that was. And here's what we're going to do. We'll set these down here. I'm just going to riffle through the cards, and as I do, say when or say stop. Okay, right there. And we're going to make sure they're lost. Yeah, look good? Okay. And you did a great job. Thank you for your help. Thank you very much. All right. Now, you picked a card and you thought of a number. So I'm going to have you concentrate on that number, if you would. Tell me right now, are you telepathetic? Okay. That's the word on the street. I'm going to draw a grid here. I'm going to draw several numbers in the grid. And hopefully I will be able to see this. Just concentrate on your number. This stuff is in my blood. My father is psychic, and my mother is telepathic. And they say that somehow that makes me psychopathic. I learned recently, I was looking at my family tree, that my great-great-grandmother, she was a medium. And then I found out my great-great-granddad, he was an extra large. And boy, was she happy. Yeah. All right, we're just seeing who's listening. My parents tell me that my uncle knew the exact day he was going to die. That's true. The judge told me. Okay, now I've made several guesses here. Do you see your number anywhere in there? No. Okay. It's there. You just can't see it yet. Okay. What was the, tell everybody out loud the number you were thinking of. 33. I'm going to write that in red right here on the top. 33. You're going to find this kind of fascinating. I know I do. Look at this. 8 and 11 is 19. 20 and 13, that's 33. That's your number. Look over here. You got 14 and 19. That's 33. That's his number. Here's 18 and 15. That's 33. That's your number. And right here, look, there's 19 and 14. That's 33. That's your number. Isn't that cool? Well, look at this. Up and down. Look, there's 19 and 14, 33. There's 20 and 13, 33. 13 and 20, 33, your number. Again, 20 and 13, that's your number, sir. 33. That gets better. Look, diagonally. Look, 10, 19, 14, that's 33. There's 8, 23 and 10, that's, again, 33. This is where it gets crazy weird. Look at this. If I just do these two and these two, that's 18 and 15, that's 33. Over here, you got 24 and 9, that's 33. If I just do these four right here, look, there's 10, 21, and 12. That's 33. Over here, we got, look, 8, 20, 13. That's 33. Right here, look, 15, 29, 4. That's 33. Right here, look, 18 and 15. That's 33. If I just do these two and these two, look, that's 10, 23. That's 33. Right here, look, that's 25 and 8. That's 33. The center, right here, look at that. So we got 9, 18, 15. That's 33. And this, check this out, 8, 9, 23 and 10, that's 33. That's your number. Yeah. Now, if you folks have any questions, I want you to save them until I'm gone. And you're going to want to hold on to that, because I promise you one day that's going to be worthless. Sooner than you think. Now, you picked a card as well. And what is your zodiac sign? So you picked a black card. Yeah. All right. And what month? Club. Is it club? Yeah. Okay. And tell me something about yourself. Give me something to work with here. Baseball, well, it's definitely a number card that you picked. It wasn't a phase card. Okay. You know, all the innings, the numbers, the scores. And what's the year of your birth? 67. If I do the math, 13 minus 1 from the 3 is 2. Was it the 2 of club? Yeah. And what was the number? Did you pick 33? Check this out. Look at this. Remember they were shuffled? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. What was your card, sir? There it is with your... That what I just did before, that's called mind reading. I would tell you guys some of my Nostradamus jokes, but you wouldn't get them for like another 100 years. So. Hello and welcome to Quadraricant Opus. I know when first hearing those words, it sounds like a magic incantation rolling off the tongue of a wizard. But really all it means is, when you break it down, opus means work or a great work. Can, C-A-A-N, is card at any number, while quadrare is an old archaic word that means to square. And that's what I've done here, is I've married two great effects, the magic square with a card at any number. This is a great stand-up piece, a show piece for me that I've used in my show for years. And for those of you that do stand up know it's great to have that middle piece that takes some time, that where it keeps packing a punch, where things keep happening. And that's what this routine does for me. Okay, now as to the history of the magic square, this is something that predates Christ. In fact, it was known to Chinese mathematicians in 650 BC. That's how old this effect is. Such notable persons in history like Benjamin Franklin would use this in demonstrations to amaze crowds. So you can see why it's a classic for good reasons, and this is why magicians still do it today. How this all came together for me is I was hired to work another week at the Magic Castle. It's one of my favorite gigs on planet Earth, and I knew that magicians had seen the Magic Square, but I really wanted to perform this in the parlor. And if you've been in the room, you know it seats about 60, 70 people, and it's a great stand-up piece when you do it for lay audiences. But I thought, what could I do differently that magicians maybe have not seen before? But I thought, why not marry these two effects? The card at any number, you have 52 cards in a deck. Typically, they're picking a number between 20 and 50. To me, it only made sense that maybe somehow they could write their number on their card. It could appear at that position in the deck. And the magician, through mind reading or whatnot, could actually, show through the magic square that all the rows and columns and such, of course, add up to their number. So thank you, Magic Castle, for booking me again, because that was my big inspiration for this effect. Now, originally when the magic square was performed, someone from the audience would simply call out a number, and the demonstrator would draw a 4x4 grid on a piece of paper, and then show them how all the rows and columns and whatnot would add up to their chosen number. Now, when magicians do this, what we try to change up is to magically learn or discover or discern somehow the number that they've just merely thought of. Now, of course, when doing this, the magician has to have some secret method to glean that information. And normally when it's done, the number is written down and then somehow peaked by the magician. Some magicians use center tears, some use peak wallets, and that's what I use when I just do the magic squares. I will use a peak wallet. And there's many, many wallets on the market. They range from $40 to $100 and up. And they have lights and magnets and flaps and things like that. But what I found that works best for me is my own little wallet. This is a wallet that I just kind of happened upon. I call it a Zap wallet. And Zap stands for Zneak a Peek. And it's just a little leather business card wallet. Has my business cards inside. I can hold packet tricks, my license, whatnot inside. And what I'll have them do is write down their number on the back of the business card. I'll say, show it to a few of your friends. And the reason I have them write it down is I say, if you were to whisper this into your friend's ear, I might overhear you. And so that doesn't happen. Just write it down so you don't forget what that number is. That goes into the back of the wallet for safekeeping. I show the wallet. Now, as I put this in my pocket, I see what I need to see. And how this works is there's simply a window in the back of the wallet. And with a little sleight of hand, you can actually show both sides of the wallet. I'm going to do what's called the paddle move. And all I'm doing is I use my thumb to turn it, but also turn my wrist at the same moment. So they feel like they're seeing the front and back of the wallet. Now I'm doing this just to show you now, don't overdo this in performance. Just show it once. Now this is a Doc Hilford idea. What he would do is put the wallet in his pocket, but he would intentionally miss. So he'd have to look down and then he could see what the information is through the back of the wallet. Another thing that I'll do with the Zap wallet is while I'm talking with my hands, since the audience is in front of me, I can simply glance at the number that they've written down. And then later, of course, that card is given back to them as a souvenir. So that's the Zap wallet. That's something you can find on my website. All right. Now, normally when I do this, I will use an art pad to draw the grid on. And days past, I used a dry erase board, and I used black tape to make a grid. But what I found was it's so nice to give them a souvenir of the show after, so it's nice that you can just rip this out and give it to them at the end. It just seems much more organic. So when you draw the grid, let's talk about that. There's an easy way to do this. How would you draw a 4x4 grid neatly? Well, the easiest thing to do is to draw a big plus sign in the middle, and then from there you can just divide things in half after you've drawn the grid. So this is the quickest way I found and the best looking way to make a 4x4 grid. Now, when you perform the magic square, obviously there's a formula that makes all of the math work. And so now you could very well memorize all this, and I have done that in the past, but I found it much easier if you have some kind of crib sheet. Now, some magicians will actually pencil in certain numbers to help them. But there is still 4 numbers that are formulaic, that you have to add and subtract some things to make all this work. And so what I've done is I just, on my marker where I draw everything, I have a sticker that has all the information. You'll notice that with the DVD, I give you this. I give you 4 different formulas. Basically, it's the same, 2 different formulas twice. If you'll cut that in half, you'll have 2 of the formulas. And one formula is for numbers between 21 and 35. The other formula is for numbers between 36 through 50. You'll see why that's important later. First, we're going to go through numbers 21 through 35. So when I draw this, these numbers are always the same, the ones that I'm about to draw in now. And if you look at the formula, you'll see that these numbers are constant. Now, this formula does work with larger numbers, but you'll see why later that I like to use a second formula for larger numbers. Now, n is your number that goes here first, and it's their number minus 20. So let's say they thought of 30, the number 30. Well, 20 from 30 is 10, so I'm going to put 10 right here. This number is n minus 1, so that number is going to be 9. And now the next number is n plus 2, so this is 12. And the last number is n plus 1, which is 11. Now in doing so, now all of the rows, all of the columns, all of the diagonals, there's several different permutations that we'll go over in just a moment. These all now add up to 30, as you can see. There's 8 and 11 is 19, 20 and 30. They're going to add up all the different ways. Okay, so now let's talk about all the different ways that this adds up to their chosen number. Now, when I show this, if you watch the performance footage, I will show them the grid, and I'll say, do you see your number here? Of course, they don't see their number 30, so you just may not see it yet. So now I'll pull out a marker that's a different color. I like to use red for the contrast, and I will say, for the first time, call your number aloud, and they say 30. So look at this. Each row, look, there's 8, 11, or is 19, 20, and 10, that's 30. Here we have 11 and 19 is 30. There's 15 and 15, that's 30. 15 and 15 again, that's 30. Now the audience typically applauds after this. And I'll say, but look, let's go up and down. Look, there's 13, 19, and 11. There's 30. There's 17 and 13. Again, we have 30. There's 13 and 17, that's 30. Again, 17, 20, and 10, that's 30. That's your number. They think the trick's over. I go, check this out diagonally. Look, there's 10, 19, and 11. That's 30. Here we have 22 and 8. That's 30. And just when they think possibly that's all the different combinations, you keep showing them. You go, look, let's say I just do these two and these two. Look, there's 18 and 12. That's 30. Here we have 21 and 9, that's 30. I go, look, if I just do these right here, I said, look, we've got 10, 19, and 11, that's 30. Over here we have 22 and 8, that's 30. Right here, look, there's 20 and 10, that's 30. Over here we have 15 and 15, that's 30. Even the center four right here, look, we have 9, 18, and 12. Again, that's 30. Even if we just do these two and these two, look, that's 10 and 20, that's 30. Here's 22 and 8, that's 30. I go, look, even the four corners, 8, 9, 19, and 11, that's 30. And that's when I typically sign it. And I say, and that's what I call a miracle. And then I'll rip this out and hand them the page as a nice memento for the show. I've made an example for you here of another grid, a 4x4 grid with the number 45. And you can see why I like to use a different formula for larger numbers. If you look, there's 4 distinct numbers that are in their 20s. And so if you give this away as a souvenir at the end of the show, they're going to be able to look at this and know that certain numbers are key in how this works. And so that's why I've created a second formula, and I have a second marker. One marker is on this side of the coat that's for numbers 21 through 35. This marker on the other side of my jacket is for numbers 36 through 50. So if you refer to the sticker that you got with the DVD, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me show you what it looks like with the new numbers. All the numbers seem to make much more sense, and it's harder to find any key numbers in this because each of these numbers have been increased, so these numbers don't have to be as large, the 4 key numbers that make this work. And so that's why I give you 2 different formulas. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the markers. On one marker, I have the standard formula, which is where n is their number minus 20. And if you refer to the sticker, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. And don't worry about them seeing this on the marker. When you're holding this, it's up in your hands. It's very easy to refer to. The second marker is in my other pocket, and that marker is for numbers 36 through 50. And it has a different formula where some of the numbers are larger, which I think makes it more undetectable if you give it away as a souvenir when using a larger number. And this is where n is minus 35, their number minus 35. Now let's say for pocket management reasons that you can't afford to use up both pockets and both markers need to go in the same pocket. For that reason, I will put a white dot on top of one of the markers. I use it for the larger numbers, numbers 36 through 50. That way I can see as I go into my pocket what I need to pull out so I don't accidentally pull out the wrong marker. Okay, now for the fun part, controlling the card. If you've watched the performance footage, you know that originally when I do this, I do my comedy shuffling routine. Take and use what bits of that you'd like. It just makes the routine more fun, not so serious, to lighten it up a little bit. I like to use a brand new deck of cards when I do this. When you use old cards, they want to stick together, and you need control of every single card in the deck. You do not want them clumping together. So that's why I'll spring the cards and fan them just to make sure they're broken in well. And now you've got to control their card at their position. So how do we get that card at that position? First, I have them just merely think of a card. I say just think of a card and take it out of the deck, or just pull out a card at random. They do. Let's just say they've chosen, let's just use a face card. Let's use the Jack of Hearts for this. I'll give them a sticker, and I'll say, if you would please, put a sticker on the face of that card. Not on your face, but on the front of the card. And they do, and I've drawn the number 32 on there. And I'll hand them a pen and ask them to write down their thought of number on the card. Now, I put the pen down. I don't put it away. I don't put it back into my jacket just yet. Now, while they're doing all of that, while they're putting the sticker on it, I will count off in packets of 3, 9 cards into my hand. And I will ask them to place back their card once they place the sticker on it back into the packet. I'll close the packet, and then I'll leave that card in-jogged. It was out-jogged, but when you close the fan, of course, now it's going to be in-jogged. And I will simply just cut that to the bottom of the packet. Now, as I go to open my jacket to put the marker away, I see what I need to see. I see Jack of Hearts. I see the number 32 on that sticker. And this is why it's so nice to have the sticker, because had they written that number on a face card, you may not be able to read what they've written. So that really highlights it for you. You know exactly where to look. Since their number is 32, you now need to control it to that position. Well, I have 2 different formulas that I remember for this. One is the top 3 pick a number between 20 and 40, and the bottom 2 pick a number between 41 and 50. And that's actually kind of true. Most people are going to pick one of those middle numbers, 20 to 40, and the other folks are going to pick some of the higher numbers, 41 to 50. So top 3, 20 to 40, bottom 2, 41 to 50. Now, what if you can't remember this? When you're first practicing, I know this seems like a lot to remember. Well, what I'll do is, if the card box is on the table, just on the flap, I've made myself a little note in pencil that says T3, 20 to 40, B2, 41 to 50. And then that is just, I'm looking at it. It's right there on the table for me to see if I need to see it. Once you've done this a few times, you won't need that. But that card is on the bottom with a sticker. And I know that I need to get it to the top of the packet. That's part of the rule, T3. So top, I control it to the top. I just overhand shuffle it to the top. And I place that packet on the table. I pick up the balance of the deck, and I'm going to get a break underneath the bottom 3 cards. So that's the 3 that I was referring to. I control it to the top. Now I'm holding a break above these 3. Just like this with my finger. Hold a small pinky break. It's invisible in the front if you do this correctly. Now I'll riffle through the pack and I'll say, just say when to stop. They say stop. All you do is you lift at the break in the back as you close the front. And as I do that, the hands come apart. I'm taking away these 3 cards to my side. I throw these on top of the packet and I scoop them on top of the cards in my left hand that are holding the 3 cards. Now their chosen card is at position 40. Anytime you do this, if you use either formula, it's going to be at position 40 or 50. Right now, it's at position 40. Their number was 32, so I need to shuffle off 8 cards off the top. I'm going to do this silently in my mind. Throw those on top. Now if you want, throw in some false cuts and shuffles into the mix. But regardless, their card is now going to be at position 32. Let's just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. There it is, their card at their number. Okay, now let's say one of the larger numbers is chosen, a number between 41 and 50. Well, now we have to use the second formula, which is B2, 41 through 50. And all that is again, let's take a card, a random card. Let's say it's the Queen of Clubs, and we'll put a sticker on it again. And we'll pick a number this time between 41 and 50. Let's just make the number, for sake of argument, let's just say 44. 44. The way I like to do it now is to simply just count off 9 cards off the top. While they're doing all that, I'll just push blocks of 3 again. So I have 9 cards in my hand. These go down. This card goes back into the small packet. It's out jogged. Now it's in jogged. I control that card to the bottom just by cutting it there. When I open my jacket and put the marker away, I see the number 44 at this moment. And now I leave it there. I don't have to move it. Now, if you want to, you can shuffle it to the top and bottom if you just feel like, you know, they're following the position of the card. But you want to leave it on the bottom because that's going to place it at position 50, 50. So these go on the table. Now, since their number was a larger number, you remember in B2, bottom, it's on the bottom. Now you need to get a break beneath 2 cards. Hide that break in the front. Again, you riffle, they say stop, close everything in the front, lift at the break, you're pulling away 2 cards. It looks like you've pulled away a larger packet of cards. These go on top, scooped into the cards in your hand. Now their card is 50 from the top. And again, all you need to do is shuffle off 6 cards. Those go to the bottom. That card is now 44 from the top. Again, do some false cuts and shuffles if you wish. But now when we count down, let's go ahead and check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. There it is. Now let's say somehow you've miscounted. Maybe that card's at the 43rd position or the 45th position. That's the nice thing about having the sticker there. Because as you run your fingers across these cards, if somehow you've miscounted, and let's say the card falls at this position, well, you can just pretend to take that card and come up and show them the card with a sticker on it. Or let's say it's one too many, and you've counted off this to be the 44th card. I'll just say something, bring my hands together, I'll come up, show that card,
If you need to do something like a double lift to turn it over and show that card, you can. That's the advantage of a sticker gives you that just simply writing on the card does not. Now, the more you perform this routine, you'll learn that there are actually shortcuts where you don't actually have to count off so many numbers. Let's say again that their number that they've chosen is 44. This is your 10 card block, and you've controlled their card to the bottom of that packet. It needs to be there because you want it at position 50. Remember, B2, 41 through 50. So that card's at the bottom. The packet goes on the table. Now, typically what I would do is I would count off 2 cards off the bottom. Now, in a moment, I'm going to have to shuffle off 6 cards. But why not just go ahead and push those 6 cards over? And so now I'm holding on to an 8 card packet. So when they riffle and they say stop and I throw these back into the deck, guess what? Their card is now 44 from the top. There's no need to do the overhand shuffle to move the cards. So the more you do this, you'll find that there's shortcuts to help you. Okay, now there's a few different ways that you can actually foretell their selection. Once you've controlled their card to their number in the deck, you could very well hand them the pack and have them count down all the cards, turn over the card, and hold it up for everybody to see. But you better be very confident that you've put that card in that position. But what I found is magicians, we're usually better performers. And so we can really ham it up. When we hold it up, we can hold it up high and get that applause cue than them just going, yep, that's it. You know, it's not as exciting. So I recommend that you be the one to turn over the card. And also, obviously, like I said before, let's say somehow you missed a card or two, you can control that situation, whereas they cannot. So you can get yourself out of a bad situation if you need to. Now, another note, when you peek that card, you learn the card's identity. As well as the number. So you could very well read their mind and try to discern the card that they selected as well. Now, chances are, after all of this, the magic square and not, they've forgotten their card. It's a good reason they've got a sticker on there to help them remember, and it has their number. But if you wish, if they remember the card, you can actually read their mind and tell them what that card is. Okay, now after seeing all this, I know you're thinking, man, this is a lot to remember. You know, there's 2 different markers, different formulas. The more you do this, the easier it's going to get. One marker is your number minus 20. You're just filling in 4 numbers. The other one is their number minus 35. And by the way, when you do that, let's say their chosen number was 50 and you're subtracting 35. It's easy to get at 15, but what I usually do to make it easy is I'll subtract 10, then another 10, another 10, and then the 5, just in my mind, because you're talking to the audience. You need to be engaged with them. They don't need to see your wheels spinning or the smoke coming out your ears. Also, when you're doing the controlling the card to the position, you've got to remember top 3, 20 to 40, bottom 2, 41 to 50. Once you do this a few times, it's really going to get easy. You'll learn some of these shortcuts to make it faster. So I hope you'll take Quadrare Can Opus and make it your own and make it your opus. Okay, now one of the gags that I used during the performance of this routine was the old rectal thermometer gag. And basically what I do is when I'm looking for my pen, I mistakenly take this out, hand it to them. They try to write down their number. It's funny to watch them do this because they can't, obviously. And I'll take it back. Oh, pardon me, I didn't mean to. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? I go, it's a rectal thermometer, which makes everyone laugh. And typically your assistant begins wiping their hands off. It's very funny. And I say, of course, you know what that means. And I pause and I let the audience catch up. I go, that means some asshole has my pen. So it always gets a big laugh. Now, if you don't want to use the a-hole word, you can say something like butthole. But, you know, use this for the right audiences, usually daycares. Usually I'll do this at comedy clubs, places like that. You know, you have to, I would never do this at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. You don't want to offend somebody. Plus, they have a no blue material rule in effect there. So, you know, if they feel like they've opened the door, then this is a gag that you can use, but you'll have a lot of fun with this gag. And then I'm going to have you mark it with a number between 20 and 50. Can't be between 1 and 10. It's got to be between 20 and 50. We're going to do some math with the number. So take the pen and write down your number between 20 and 50. Go ahead and do that now.
Oh, that's not a pin? Oh, I'm sorry. That's not a pin. That's a rectal thermometer. Oh, you know what that means? Some asshole has my pin right now. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I got one. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Put a number between 20 and 50 on the sticker, if you would.